How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Ruffled Rowlets, and welcome back to a brand new video, guys. We are back to our daily countdowns leading up to Pokémon Legends Z-A. And starting things off, we have some Pokémon news that you guys may enjoy, which is that Blastoise's Tera raid event is now available. Yes, the Tera raid event is now available for Blastoise. It's out from today, the 6th, until the 12th, so it's about 6 days worth of fun, so it's not exactly a week. It's 1 day less than a week, but the raid event is out now, guys. And of course, it's going to be a 7-star raid against the mighty Blastoise. I was going to say Blastoise. Blastoise, which of course is going to be in the 7-star Black Tera raid crystals, which you'll find, and it's going to have a Steel Tera type to it, which is interesting. Its ability is Rain Dish. Movesets is one of the following ones, which is Hydro Pump, Flash Cannon, Aura Sphere, Iron Defense, Withdrawal, Shell Smash, and Rain Dance. And those are the things that are available to you. Of course, if you want to take this thing on, you could even use your Venusaur from the last event if you actually caught one. But there are also, I think, Chestnut is one of the best Pokemon you use against it. But nonetheless, though, just a quick little thing I want to mention, that this is officially out now. This event started today on the 6th, and it's going to go until the 12th. So that's the first thing we'll talk about. Next up, we have this amazing post right here. Now, this post is from CardNL, and CardNL is a fantastic artist. If you guys don't know him, he makes a bunch of 3D work. He's a 3D artist who makes amazing stuff. You guys can see some of his work right here. Amazing artist. Like, hands down amazing artist. Makes some amazing stuff, like some crazy concept arts that you guys can see. And guess what? Well, he actually made something else, and I want to take a look at that exactly right now, which is a map scale reference. So this is a map scale reference for how large Lumio's tower is. And I think he's using the model of Lumio's tower from actually X and Y. I think that's the one he's using here. So in case it looks a little bit confusing, or it's a little bit, doesn't make sense what's going on. Basically, he took the map from the trailer, laid it flat in a 3D space, and then put the actual tower from X and Y in the middle. Now, of course, the actual tower in the middle, he says himself, is it's possible that the tower has a new, taller model, though. So it could be that the one we actually see in game, and maybe even taller than this one. But this kind of works as like a nice way to like kind of show scale, right? Like if every single one of these paths here by all these buildings are all movable parts, like places you can walk, this is a big place to explore. Like, I know people are complaining about the game being set within only a city. I know people are complaining about that, but it's still really intriguing to me because of, like look at this. Look at the amount of, like stuff you can work with. Like, there's a lot of space that you can walk within, and a lot of locations they can do stuff with. And like I said before, these circles right here, like these actual 5 circles, they could be some sort of terrarium, like a location that looks more natural, where maybe we can catch Pokemon, right? Like, that's a high possibility. There's, of course, no guarantees for it, but it is a possibility nonetheless. Because, again, this whole place is a circle. It's a sphere, pizza, whatever you want to call it, right? Because you have these lines that kind of break through the city, right? You got a big line that goes here, a big line that goes there, big line there, big line there, big line there. So you have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 5 slices of pizza, right? More or less, that are kind of like spread out. And they all cover, each slice more or less covers one of the circles, sort of. You'd have a line going through here that kind of breaks this circle in half. But I digress. My point is just this, okay? We do have this kind of spherical design to it. And the only thing that I can think of is the Indigo Disc terrarium, right? Like, if you think about the terrarium from Indigo Disc, right? Like the actual Indigo Disc terrarium, it has the exact same thing going on. It's just a tiny bit smaller, right? Like, look at this, right? It's the exact same concept. It's a pie or a pizza sliced into pieces, right? It's sliced into several pieces. And I have a suspicion that this, like the Indigo Disc, may have been a testing run on exactly how to do something like this. Like, how to make a straight up, like, a terrarium location that within it can hold multiple things to explore and multiple things to catch. That's the way I view this. Like, that's the way that I look at this, this map. I look at it as we're basically redeveloping the city, and in the middle of it, in these points, we're going to add in these little terrariums where we'll be able to catch a bunch of different Pokemon. Because remember, Kalos is the region that has the largest amount of Pokemon across the board, right? Like the largest, I think, national dex across the board, which means that there's a lot of Pokemon that you'd have to fit into this game if you want to fit in every single Kalos Pokemon. However, okay, if you did these terrariums, you could argue that back in the day, if this game is set in the past, that back in the day, these Pokemon all lived in Lumiose, but then because of humans, they all left. So you could argue something like that. Again, there's a lot of ways to approach this, but I'm going to leave it at that right there, okay? Like, that's pretty much where I'm going to leave this one because I don't really know what else to say about it, but it's kind of a little, like, interesting thing to talk about. Moving on, though, we have something else, which is actually a post by Pokemon themselves. Yes, they tweeted about Legends Z-A. They tweeted about it yesterday saying the urban redevelopment plan for Lumiose is underway. And then they just have a picture of the map. They show the map again from the trailer, and I don't think anything's changed about this one. We can see again if we zoom in, it's just a nicer, more clean version, I guess, of the map. But what we have, of course, is Lumiose Tower in the middle. We have these little circles all around, which again we don't know anything about them. We have you can kind of notice a few buildings here and there and some small things. Like, for example, the biggest thing to me and the biggest thing that was sent to me by one of you guys, and I covered this in a previous video, is this right here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's basically this point, like right here, where I'm like pointing at. Let's just get to it right there. At this point right here, this logo looks very similar to the Synchro machine from Pokemon, the Indigo Disc. It looks very similar to the Synchro machine. It gives off the same exact vibe. It gives off the same exact look. It looks just identical. Looking around the rest of the map though, like every other location, I can't really spot any more details that are necessarily important to mention. There are small things like this, like eye-shaped design right here. And of course you have like a little pathway that leads up to a little hill here of sorts. Again, there's a lot of stuff going on in this city, man. There's a lot of things happening, dude, and I'm very curious to see what this is going to actually look like. And I'm curious about gameplay more than anything, which is why when they tweeted this, my first reply was, gameplay, please. Like, because I just want gameplay. I think the issue with this game for me, biggest issue for me with this game is that we just don't know anything about it. I get it. Maybe they didn't want to show gameplay because it could have possibly, I don't know, given the wrong impression, or maybe the gameplay doesn't look too crisp yet, or they don't have decent gameplay to show. But the game is still coming out next year, so they have a whole year plus whatever amount of months they need next year. So if it's coming out early, then it's just exactly a year left of development. But usually when they announce a game, that usually means the game is more or less done, with minor stuff needing to still be changed. So, like, I'm just a bit surprised, but I'm hoping, and there's a chance, guys, keep in mind, there's a big chance they might do a gameplay reveal of this game during the next Nintendo Direct. Now, apparently there was supposed to be a Nintendo Direct in March, but I'm not sure if that's still happening. Nintendo Direct March. Like, I don't actually know if it's still happening, because there were rumors for it, but apparently there's a chance that may have been canceled. That may have been canceled or moved back. Like, I think that's what I heard from, like, rumors and stuff. But I don't really know, man. Like, I don't really know. There hasn't really been much that I can mention. Let's see. Yeah, there hasn't really been much, guys. I'll be honest. Yeah, in terms of rumors that I'm looking up here, there's not really much. There just isn't really a lot of things talking about, like, what to expect in regards to that. Like, there isn't really a lot of conversations about it. So I'm just going to leave that at that. I'm not really sure what else I can really say in regards to it, but at least this is where I'm going to leave it at. Basically, we don't have a confirmed Direct for March yet. There was originally a rumor that said there was supposed to be a March Direct. That rumor said that there is a chance it could be pushed back now due to the pushback of the actual release of the Switch 2. So, based off of that, I don't really know if we can expect it. But there is a chance that whenever the next Nintendo Direct happens, we might see Pokemon gameplay. Now, you might argue, oh, well, I don't think that's going to happen. I think you're talking out of your boom boom. Well, actually, they have done it. They did it last year. Last year, we didn't get a Pokemon Presents besides August. We got a Pokemon Presents in August, and that was it, right? We didn't get anything else. Well, guess what? In a Nintendo Direct around, I want to say September. I think it was September. We actually got the first thing in that trailer for the September Nintendo Direct. Let's see. Nintendo Direct, September 2023. If I'm not mistaken, I think the first thing in Nintendo Direct was actually Pokemon. And I could be mistaken. It could have been something else. But I'm not sure if it was the September one, but again, there was a Nintendo Direct last year that started off with Pokemon or ended with Pokemon. I can't remember, but it was just one of them that, like, actually, like, a list of every Nintendo Direct. Let's see. Let's actually have a look. Like this is the best way to figure this out. So if we go here, this is the Nintendo Direct, like, itinerary. This shows you every single Nintendo Direct. I think we can just put this on screen so you guys can actually see what I'm looking at, because otherwise you might be a bit confused. So here we go, guys. So This is a list of every Nintendo Direct, including Pokemon Presents and Indie Presents and all that. So, starting in 2023, we had a Nintendo Direct in February, similar to how we had a Nintendo Partner Showcase in February this year. Then they had another Direct in March, which was a one Direct about specifically Super Mario Bros. The movie, which was whatever, that wasn't really important. But then there's another one in April that was a Indie World Showcase, and then it had a proper Nintendo Direct in June. So I think June might be the time we should wait for in case we are expecting anything. And this might be the one. Like, let's actually play this this Nintendo Direct. And yeah, the first thing in this Nintendo Direct, right? So this is an official Nintendo Direct. It's an actual Nintendo Direct. If you go through it here, we skip forward, this is the first thing they show. Is the hidden treasure of Area Zero. This is where they showed gameplay of it. This is where they show a trailer of it. And they showed off more new stuff that we hadn't seen already. Like, this is literally how they started off that Nintendo Direct. And keep in mind, this was June. So by this point, we hadn't actually had any gameplay or reveals of the DLC at this point. So they showed this in June. So if we're going to go by the same logic, if Nintendo decides to do the reveal of the Switch in June, right, of this year, because they tend to do their directs around the same time every year still. Like, if we go back here, let's actually dive into, like, previous years. So this is 2022. So they had one in February, like always. They always do one in February. The Pokemon Presents was always in February, right, as standard. Then there was an indie, let's see, there was an indie showcase. Let's make sure we get this right. There was an Indie Showcase, World Showcase, actually. There was Indie World Showcase on May 11th. So there's one in May. So there's nothing in March, right? March was left empty in 2022. Whereas in 2023, that's where we got the Super Mario Bros. Movie thing. So if there's nothing in May, then we should expect it in June, because that was the next time they had a Nintendo Direct of any sort, like a mini Direct partner showcase was in June. And that's because they had a regular Nintendo Direct in February. So you can kind of like dissect from that because we haven't had a regular Nintendo Direct in February, we had a partner showcase instead. That probably means that the Direct we should expect going into the future, because you can see right here, if we go to 2024, right here, Nintendo Partner Showcase, right? It wasn't a regular one. So that means that they still need to do a regular Nintendo Direct this year still, at some point very soon. So it can happen any point now, between now and June. Like, it's going to happen between now and June at some point. And in that Direct, I think we will see the first gameplay. And the reason I say this is because there's a lot of talks about the possibility that Legends Z-A might be the first Pokemon game that will actually be multi-platform. Like a game that will actually be on the regular Nintendo Switch to keep selling Switch consoles. And also one that will be a launch title. Now, I don't think that's the case. I think they're going to keep it just focused on the regular Nintendo Switch to sell more like to people that already own a Switch. But there is a chance the game will be ported over, possibly. Again, very much a possibility, but no guarantees. Don't take this as a end-all be-all or anything being confirmed in a sense, because there's no guarantees for that, okay? I'm going to tell you right now. However, it is a chance, and that's, I think, what we need to leave this up to. So, the fact that they're tweeting about it is good, because they usually go AWOL, okay? They never tweet anything, man. They just disappear, and they don't talk about this shit until there's another presents or a trailer or something important happens, which basically happens every 6 months. So, this is a good thing, okay? Them tweeting this out. I know it's just a small tweet and doesn't reveal anything brand new, but it is a good thing that they tweeted it out, because it means that they're gonna be like giving us information along the way. So that's happy and nice. But yeah, let's leave that at that. Let's move on to the next thing, which of course is a bit of a theory from Silver, who says that he loves them that they're posting about the games instead of doing silent until August. Aside of things to come, it's already 1 week later, but I have a confession. My first thought was, why does Game Freak love France so much? Hope PLZA existence doesn't totally end my dreams of Italy as our Gen 10 region. Well, of course not. I think PLZA is still just a Legends game. The same way Legends came out the same year that Generation 9 came out, like Scarlet and Violet, I don't think it really impacts anything. I don't think it really changes much. And I highly doubt the next actual generation is going to have anything to do with France. It might be based on Italy. It might be based on, I think, the Netherlands is my guess. I think my guess is that's going to be based on the Netherlands. But they could just decide to be like, nope, not Europe anymore. We're going to North America, or we're going to Asia, or we're going to the, like Africa, or the, Oceania, whatever, like they could just go to any of the other continents and just chill over there. But yeah, I'm going to leave that right there, and let's move on to a big theory post. It's a massive post by Mordecai's Mons, and he's already made a bunch of other theories as well, so I thought we'd take a look. If you guys don't know him, please do go check out his Twitter account. It's up there. It's at Mordecai's on Twitter. So it's at Mordecai's_Mons, and basically has a big theory time here. So let's take a look and read through this whole thing. So, starting things off, new theory time. Was Pokemon X and Y Lumio City inspired by Puel Town in Pokemon Rangers Shadows of Almia? Now, before I begin, yes, I know there's a very fine line comparing spin-offs to main lines, but stick with me. Well, first of all, Lumios was based off of Paris. Lumios Tower is based off of, the Eiffel Tower. So already I'm losing the plot here. But he says maybe, I guess they used inspiration from it. I'm not really sure. He continues on, says, second, the idea speculation is that Puel Town was inspiration for Lumio City. Much like Lumios is the heart of Kalos, Puel Town is the heart of Almia region. Ultra Inc. had plans to redevelop Puel Town that ultimately failed. Similar structures at the entrance, too. So that's kind of an interesting connection. It's called the Heart of Almia. There's a harbor which allows players to cross the sea to places such as Boilie Land and Haruba Village. And then apparently units placed by Team Dim Sun that hypnotized Pokemon. They had plans to redevelop Puel Town. That most of the town's residents, save for one moment, and despise greatly, with one resident musing that they may rename Puel Town to Ultra Town, following the events of Ultra Tower during Operation Brighton. The company drops the redevelopment plans. So this is a place which actually had a redevelopment plan. Dude, why is redevelopment such a big thing in Pokemon games? Why is redevelopment such a present thing within Pokemon games? It feels a little bit weird, doesn't it? Doesn't it feel a little bit out of place? I don't know, man. That's at least the way I see it. But nonetheless, though, he continues on. And, of course, we can see kind of what's happening here. And, yeah, I get it. I can see what he means. 3. Now, there are more similarities as well, with the walkways of Puel Town and Lumio City looking very much alike. As far as Team Dim Sun and the Sinus trio, I believe they could be seen as inspirations for Team Solar Flare, or of Kalos, or Team Flare, I guess, or Solar Flare, if you want to call it like that, as well. And, of course, here he's talking about specifically these guys, these 3, being some form of inspiration for these lads, which I can see with the hairs of the color of the hairs and everything. I can see that. I actually see what he means. Moving on. Next, I want to point out the fact that not only was Puel Town supposed to undergo redevelopment similar to Mawile and Lumios, but the tower itself was considered an ultimate weapon and ran off of shadow crystals that, when defeated, turned into luminous crystals. Which, it's pretty on the nose. Team Dim Sun uses Ultra Tower as a cover for their ultimate weapon. Again, ultimate weapon, the incredible machine. The weapon is a giant Gigaremo that is powered by shadow crystals. And then moving on here, it is powered by the shadow crystal, which is later turned into the luminous. Luminous, very much similar to Lumious. But yeah, Crystal, they're using Tears of Princess during Operation Brighton, and this is currently guarded by Darkrai. Moving on. The Ultra Tower was one giant Gigaremo, and the smaller ones were large computers that came in 4 colors that, to me, are somewhat akin to Zygarde's color pattern. And Infinity Energy towers atop of Mawile City after its redevelopment in Oras. And here, of course, he's bringing up these colors, which he's connecting to Zygarde's colors on its final form, I guess. And then talking about Mawile and the same towers we see all around Mawile City, which could be the case. Now, this is just a fun theorizing, of course, and nothing of face value. There are many things that can lead us to believe that this game was set to inspire future concepts and region plans in the mainline games. Thanks for checking out the theory, and be sure to follow for more. So definitely do check him out, guys. He does make some wacky theories, but they're actually really fun. And yeah, definitely check him out. I think it's worthwhile to just take a look at these. Also, quickly, I just want to mention these. This is funny as shit to me. This is a old fake Korokoro post, which I actually even tweeted this out because I thought it was hilarious. But it's an old fake Korokoro post of a fusion between Yveltal and Yveltal, Zygarde, and Xerneas and Zygarde, basically fusing together them, which I thought was hilarious. And honestly, it could still end up being something that could happen. You never know what kind of wacky shit they could do with Pokemon. But I thought it was fun because it was on 4chan. Somebody shared it. But we're going to leave that there and move on to the next thing, which is this 4chan post here instead. Now, this 4chan post says the following: "Enjoy your megas" by Anonymous. And he has a picture of a bunch of pentagrams and stuff. He says the following: "Believe it or not, pin this for later. Yes, there will be new Pokemon and forms. Now, don't expect new starter forms. The focus is on Mega Evolution." Ooh, yes, that's this. Ooh, yeah, baby. That's the shit I like. That's the shit I like, okay? He says, "It will be a tie-in with the theme of balance and harmony between people and Pokemon. The designs have been prepared for a while now. It doesn't mean they won't change by the time Z-A comes out, but all Megas have some unknown symbols on them. Mega Chestnut, Chivalry. Okay. Now, Mega Chestnut is inspired by the knights and chivalry of medieval France. Its armor becomes thicker and more like an ornate plate armor worn by French knights. Chestnut's armor plates expand, and its helmet gets a majestic crest like a knight's helm. It looks more regal and honorable. Okay, kind of a cool concept for Chestnut. I guess it makes sense as well. Chestnut normally, I think, is based on a rugby player or American football player or whatever. But it moves on. Ability, Night Protector. Acts like a focus sash. Gives Chestnut a chance to endure attacks that would knock it out. Works with full HP. Question mark? That's a bit weird. Mega Greninja. Secrets. Ooh, Mega Greninja is inspired by the world of secret societies that played a significant role in the 19th century French history. I doubt they would do that, though, particularly during the periods of political turmoil and intrigue. Its sleek, ninja-like appearance becomes more refined and mysterious, with a cloak-like membrane extended from its limbs, allowing it to blend seamlessly into shadows. Ability, Shadow Infiltrator. Greninja gets increased evasion against opponents' moves and has a chance to land critical hits when attacking from a hidden position. Think moves like Shadow Sneak. Okay. And then I think the final one he has here, we're going to move right down here. The final one he has here is Mega Delphox, Peacemaker. That's a bit of a weird one as well. Mega Delphox's design draws on inspiration from the mystical wisdom and diplomatic practices that were prevalent in the 19th century France and the Belle Epoque era. A wise mediator, its robes becomes more elaborate, adorned with arcane unknown symbols. Its staff grows longer, commanding peace. Ability, Harmony Aura, increases the power of Delphox's psychic-type moves, and it grants it a chance to lower the opponent's attack and special attack when it enters the battlefield. Switch out specialist. And that's where this post ends. It doesn't really go on further than this. I'm gonna be real. Yeah, I don't know, Chief. Oh, I don't know, bro. I'm gonna be real. I'm not feeling this one. I'm not feeling this one. I feel like the connections don't make much sense. The only one that makes sense is the Mega Chestnut with the chivalry. That kind of fits. The other two just seem a little bit, I don't know, a little bit odd. Like something that I don't think I don't think Game Freak would do. I don't think Game Freak would do, like, base it off of those things. Like, it just feels a little bit far-fetched for them to do that. See what I did there? Far-fetched? Haha, let's go. My point is, I just doubt this would be real. But again, it's a 4chan post, so we can only take it from face value and then move on with our lives. So, let me know you guys' thoughts and opinions. I give this one a fake out of 10, okay? That's pretty much it. But let's move on to the next thing, which is a post from one of my actual streams. It's a message sent to us by Dante's Wildlife. Now, the pink hue in PLZA tells me that Diancie will have a greater role in the PLZA plot. Maybe it acted as the original power source of the ultimate weapon. Now, what he's talking about here is the actual logo. If you look at the logo of Pokémon Legends Z-A, like, look at the actual Pokémon text, and kind of like the pinkish color, it looks oddly similar to Magearna. Like, the colors match really well. The pink hue and everything matches perfectly with the pink hue and the pink color that you see on Magearna, which makes sense. Magearna as a Pokemon, if we look it up, like, Magearna as a Pokemon is a weird one. But the thing about it is that it's a Pokemon that, to me, does scream kind of like past, right? It screams that, like, it's an artificial Pokemon. And here's the thing. If we read the actual, and if you watch the Pokemon movie about it, there's some details that are interesting about it there. But here's what it says, basically. Magearna is a Steel Fairy mythical Pokemon introduced in Generation, I guess, 6. Or wait, was it Gen 6 or was it Gen 7? I think Gen 7, actually, yeah. Now, while it's not known to evolve into or from any other Pokemon, Magearna had a second form colored gold and red, known as Original Color Magearna, that while present in Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun and Moon, was not made available until the release of, I guess, Gen 8's Pokemon Home. It was leaked in the March issue of Korokoro, released on February the 10th of 2016. It was officially revealed on February 14, 2016, making the first Gen 7 Pokemon to be, I guess, is it Gen 7 then? Yeah, it's Gen 7 Pokemon to be revealed to the public. Here's the thing, though. In terms of Magearna, it's a metallic bipedal artificial Pokemon that's made from primarily spheres. It has meat is medium-sized. And in the anime, of course, it makes major appearances in, like, Volcanion and the Mechanical Marvel. During the events of the movie, she was then kidnapped by Alva, prompting her guardian, Volcanion, to set out on a mission to rescue her. I don't know how many people feel about that movie, necessarily, but again, the thing about this Pokemon is it's a weird one. It's an artificially made Pokemon. It almost looks like one of those old school like little like dolls that would like dance if you like twisted them. It kind of gives that sort of vibe away. But also it looks like a Pokeball at times, right? Like in its design. So as an artificial Pokemon, is it possible we will be seeing it in the game around the period when it was actually created? Like that time period when Magearna was literally brought into reality, when it was literally made. Is that possibly the time frame we're going to be working with? Like, that's what I'm wondering, because I have a feeling that's exactly when we're going to see it. But again, that's just a theory. A game theory. But yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at with that one. I don't really know what else to say, but again, I think it's intriguing that the colors on it match so well. Like, the colors of Magearna match really well with the actual Pokemon Legends Z-A logo. Like, the actual Pokemon logo in the middle here. And you could argue, like, oh, but that's just the standard logo. No, because if you look up Legends Arceus logo, right? Like, if you look up the Legends Arceus logo, it matches really well with, like, you know, that game. It matches really well with how that game looks and everything. So here you guys see, like, right there you got the Pokemon Legends logo, right? The Pokemon text is blue. It's, like, really pure blue. This is like rustic. It almost looks rustic, like very kind of like old, like an old film, like the color of an old film, like an 8mm freaking like film strip or something like that. Basically, it just looks older. It looks more rustic. That's the exact feeling that I'm getting, as opposed to like, you know, like Legends, for example, Arceus, which is very different. But that's pretty much what that is going to end. And also, a quick shout out to the person for the music in the background that you've been listening to. It's from Manira Patavia, which pretty much made a little Pokemon Legends Z-A UST, which, you know, is just like just a really cool little like remake of the music from the trailer, or kind of like an interesting little song he put together to be similar to Legends Z-A. So, if you guys want to check the song out, please do so. But, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for today's video. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next daily upload of our countdown leading up to Pokemon Legends Z-A. So, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, and bye-bye.